Bam. Bam. How are you? I got to fix this whole thing here. It's not what I want. Let's see here like that. Okay. How are you? Do you notice anything different? Please tell me you do, because I just burned a stupid amount of money for a camera lens so that I could bring you a more crisp, a more beautiful Yardwork Realty live stream. That's right. How long have I been doing live streams? I don't even know. That's the bad thing. I know I started working on the channel last year around July. I know now it's September 4th, 2022. And man, you know what? I just gotten tired of not having crystal clear video every morning. I mean, I have great internet. I have a great camera, supposedly. We'll talk about it in a minute. And like, I just felt like I should, oh goodness. By the way, you're going to notice this piece of hair all day long. It's from my beard. I'm sorry. I was going to fix it. That was on the list of things to do, and I forgot. Oh, it's annoying. Here, yeah. Just deal with it today. I apologize. What am I going to do? Anyway, spending all kinds of time on this camera. We'll go over it. Looks like my eyes are, yellow. I got to work on that. Had wonderful things going on this weekend so far, this Labor Day weekend. Going to go over that. We're going to go over all kinds of stuff about the real estate market. We're going to go over some things about Google search in general. We're just going to go all over the place today. And I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be a little bit different. It's I believe it's Sunday. So it's kind of a calmer day. I'm supposed to do hundreds of things today, and I haven't gotten very far. I'm proud of it, but anyway, there's that. And we're just I don't know how long I'm going to stream today. I don't even know. I wanted to get out. I wanted to get with my people. I don't even think I have my computer hooked up to do some of the stuff that I normally do. I just wanted to jump on and see if anybody's out there and wanted to chat. So now we're about 2 minutes into this show, and I think the best thing I could possibly do is introduce myself, because you're probably like, how did I stumble on this garbage? Well, it's not garbage to me. My name is John Schenk. I'm the founder and managing broker of Yardwork Realty in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a small brokerage. We concentrate mainly on residential sales. We help buyers buy homes and sellers sell theirs. My real estate realty stream is about simply popular culture, the way I see the real estate news versus, like what I read. We talk about the market. We talk about things you should do, things you shouldn't do when buying a home. There's many things you shouldn't do. And I can't tell you how many times I watch people do things and I'm like, that's not the right move. And they're my friends. So we'll talk about those types of things. I really want to get to 100 subscribers and have never been able to. I've gotten to 99 subscribers twice now, only to lose a subscriber somewhere along the way. I don't know if it's ever based on something that I say, but I'll give you the viewer my opinion, and you can choose to, agree with me or not. So yeah, that's who I am. That's what I do. That's what this is. And what about you? What's one of the more fascinating questions that I think I see? I look at all the data and everything, and how do you become a great YouTuber? And one of the things they say is you need to know your audience, and that the AI isn't smart enough to know what your audience is. So you have to tell it what your audience is. And it's very fascinating. Defining your audience for my show, kind of fascinating. I mean, I don't really know. I really don't. Like, I like real estate news. I would think real estate agents who are just tired of the BS that they read every day would love my show. They would think that's just the best show ever, especially if you're not in my market, because I know obviously you feel a little uncomfortable being friends with, 1,000 real estate agents. I would think that would be a huge market for me, a huge audience. And then I would think that my audience would be built with people that just like the real estate game. you know, and then people that like pop culture and things of that nature. I love it. I love it. We'll talk about it. We have all these things to talk about. I should do a hook, right? That's so you can stay here. One, I went to a wedding last night. We'll talk about that. Two, we'll talk about our camera and lens situation. Then I'll talk about the weather, because everyone wants to talk about the weather. We'll talk about the Labor Day weekend and how that relates to showing houses. We'll look at Google Trends, some fascinating stuff there. And then we'll look at probably two articles. One, is it different buying a home today versus the past summer? And two, are more buyer-friendly terms being accepted? Well, I can answer those things, but I'm not going to answer them right now. I'm going to start with something that I don't know about you, by the way. Like, as I look at the screen, look, I told you on Friday, I was like, I cannot stand this pulsating background. It drives me nuts. I can't watch it. It irritates me. And I'm going to do something about it. I spent all Friday working on it. Actually, what was that, Thursday? I don't even remember. But anyway, it was last week. Now let's get into the discussion of the first thing on the list. Last night I went to a wedding. How do I put this? I think it's always an honor to be invited to a wedding. Okay. Having had a wedding late in life, I think I got married when I was 43. And having been invited to many weddings before then, sometimes I didn't even have a date. It was terrible. It's terrible. I didn't enjoy it at all. But anyway, having had the wedding, I remember exactly who was there. I remember exactly who said they were going to be there and wasn't there. And it's a big thing. I also remember the people that came to my wedding and then chose to buy or sell homes with someone else. That was a kick the old shins. It's like, hey, you came to my wedding and we're friends and you didn't want to use me as your real estate agent. I mean, you were going to use somebody and it wasn't a family member, and like somehow you thought they were better for you. Very weird deal. Always weird. The profession of being a real estate agent is an odd one, because you never know who's referring you. You're always appreciative of a referral, and then you never know, like, if somebody has a real estate agent, like, that they would like them better than you. So that's always strange. But anyway, I got invited to this wedding, and I don't know. My wife is beautiful, so she had an outfit already set up. She told me I needed to get my suit together, and I did. I listened. But I needed a shirt. I've gotten fat. You can't tell, but there's a lot of fabric down here, like in this region, because I've just gotten fat. And the weird thing was, I was on a diet and things were going well. And then I don't know what happened. Well, I know what happened. I went to Iowa, and one of our family members made a wonderful meal. And then we ate the entire day. I've never done that before, but it was wonderful. Anyway, so I had to get a shirt because I couldn't get my collar to close. It was terrible. So anyway, I had to go to the store for that. I had to get my suit dry cleaned. It did fit, but it needed to be dry cleaned, so I did that. And then we were all ready to go to this wedding. Were we excited for the wedding? I think so, yes. And as I've gotten older, I don't get invited to as many weddings as I used to. When I was in my 20s, it was like every weekend somebody was getting married that I knew. And now it's not like that. But the people that were getting married were in their 20s, so that probably gives you some indication about what was going on. Anyway, it was a wonderful night. And I was thankful to the bride and groom and their family for inviting us. I have no criticisms. I would not criticize someone else. Who would one be to criticize someone else's wedding? That's, especially that you're invited to, it's just not kosher. So we won't talk about it. Okay. Moving on. I think this is the discussion you wanted to have. So last week we talked about it. I was sick and tired of the background on my videos just going all out of control. Like the focus was just crazy. I didn't have a way to fix it, and I really didn't want to fix it. Like, because I had tried so long and tried so hard. And I just want you to know, like, I think where I want to be is I want to be real with you. Like, so we'll talk about it. Number one, I have a Sony A6400 is my camera. Number two, I was using the factory supplied lens. I think it went from 60 millimeter to 35, and I think the f-stop is like at 4. Okay, 4.5 even. And with the autofocus was just going crazy, and I couldn't stand it, and I needed to do something. And so I did all kinds of work on the camera one day, never got it to where I needed to go, decided I needed a lens, got a lens, came in yesterday at about noon. And so from noon until 6 o'clock, I was just messing with settings, trying to get my camera right. The main problem, and I'd love for anybody out there that knows something about cameras, especially mine in particular, and my lens, the main problem is my beard and my shirt became pixelated at 4K streaming output. It's annoying. It looks terrible. And I tried every single, I mean, there must be a million different settings. I tried them all. I went on YouTube. I looked at all those people's settings. Nothing would help. Finally, this morning, I went and set it up so that it's outputting in like 1080p. And it looks good. I mean, gosh, it looks so much better than it did, you know, with the throbbing and all that. That was just weird. I hated it. But is it perfect? No. But is it where I can feel comfortable about doing a stream? I mean, it's pretty good. The only thing that I don't like about the 4K cameras from this particular era is that if you want to do like face tracking on your autofocus, you can't do it in 4K. Like, there's just no way to do it. And that presents an interesting problem to me, because that really wasn't my issue. My issue is my beard and my shirt, the moire, I think that's what they say, was really annoying. And so when I downscale it to 1080p, we don't have those issues. But I feel like for the money, I should be able to shoot in 4K without the moire on my shirt, without the what I would call the blurry or the pixelation on my beard. And I mean, I don't know, you tell me what you think, but it was really, I was just checking to see my exposure, make sure I was okay on that. But yeah, why would it be that you can't have face tracking in 4K, but you can in 1080p on a camera that shoots 4K? And then why is it that when I do 4K, when I shoot it out of my my HDMI, my US, I think it's a mini HDMI, why does it have to come out so badly? Why do I have to be in 1080? What happens when we all go to 4K streams? Now, StreamYard doesn't, by the way, I use StreamYard. I don't want you to think I'm hiding anything from you. I use StreamYard. Why is it that, what happens when StreamYard goes to 4K? What am I going to do? I have to buy a new camera and a new lens, and we don't even know that that's going to fix the problem, because I'm going to probably be on a Sony, because now I've got the E-mod lens for it. So I'm kind of stuck. It's a beautiful lens. What do you think? I'm going to go look. I won't be able to check my stream today until late, having people over tonight. But I am interested to see how it shows up, because I've made an effort. And I mean, there must be a million different settings for the computer, or for the camera. And I told myself I wasn't going to get involved with all of it. I did. But I pretty much know where everything is now. And the one thing I didn't do that I probably should, is I probably should set up the menu, like a custom menu, so that I can just go through things. Problem is I typically only live stream with this camera, and so they call it a vlogging camera. To me, it's very big, and I don't think I would vlog with it. I think it's too big. I think I'm getting a GoPro, and I don't know when, because GoPro comes out with a new camera like every year, it seems, and they just get better and better. And it's like, why would I buy a GoPro this year when I can buy one next year and it's even better? Or wait until and buy the season before and it's cheaper. GoPro's got a very weird business model to me with regard to like this business, like that I see. I mean, the lens I'm using, I think, is from 2013, the new one I bought, and it was still a good amount of money. The camera, I think they just recently retired the 6400 and moved on to something else, but they've had that camera for like 6 years or longer. So it's weird to see like GoPro just set up, year after year, have a new camera. I like the idea. I have heard some complaints that formatting the drives, they burn out memory cards. If you know that to be the case, or if you know a way to work around that, please let me know. So anyway, let me see. I do want to see how things. I noticed I'm recording, and I don't really want to be recording on my. I don't really want to be recording on my. I have a mic. Oh God, what did I do? I don't know what I'm trying to say. I want to be recording the audio. Oh, okay, it's fine. I want to be recording the audio through my microphone. Well, let me just check. Are we good? Are we good? Yeah, we're good. All right. So anyway, the camera, this is the way it's going to be. Now, you say, John, I would only watch your stream if you change the background. Like, I don't like your background. Okay. Okay, that's fair. I'm not going to change anytime soon. I'm tired. I'm tired of just trying to get a good feed out. So we're just going to have to deal with it for a while. But if you could, like, feel good for me. This is, this is a year into it, and I finally got the lens, the one that looks wonderful. And hopefully, down the road, what's coming for the Deerwood Realty live stream? Well, we're probably going to get another computer at some point, because my computer's older than dirt. We're probably going to get a background change. I don't know. Let me tell you about the background, and we'll go from there. I originally thought, like, I really liked VinWiki. If you ever look at their YouTube channel, loved the way the background was set up, and I was like, I want that background. And then it didn't happen. I ended up with a background with a bunch of housing stuff. Like, that's what I'm used to. That's my business, and that's what I had a lot of. But I also had to set up my. It's weird. I stream from my desk. Okay. From my work. I'm literally sitting here working, or when I'm at home. So it's not like I have this studio or anything, but I made it out to be, I did what I could to get by. Okay. And so, as we go on, we should have more subscribers. There should be more interest, but also, like, the inhabitants of my home have changed. I had my stepson living at the house after the Rona. He moved in. He had graduated college in the meantime, and it was like he had nowhere to go. And so he moved in, but then that caused me to change my whole office around, because my office is in the basement. And before the virus, nobody would ever come down during the day because no one was home. The kids were at school. Wife was at work. I was in the office, and it worked out great. But boy, when the coronavirus came back, it was tough. And I'm still kind of getting over it. If you saw my desk right now, it's an embarrassment. I don't want you to it's piled full of stuff. So anyway, I might change the background someday. I might change. At one point in time, I was going to have this guy, I would say he's a guy, paint my wall like for a big old mural. But then I didn't get around to that. And he left. I think he moved to Iowa. So you let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think in the chat. I feel like I've moved forward with my camera. Now, do I need to fix some things? It seems like I need to fix my eyes. Like it seems like the color's a bit off because my eyes aren't really that yellow. And then I think I need to fix I need some background light. I have that lamp in the back. Now I'm going to put it up there. See how I think it's right there, but it's right over there. That's the lamp right there. Need to do something with that. But anyway, I'm pretty proud of what I've accomplished, given that I don't know anything about cameras. And at one point in time, I didn't even know anything about editing video. I've taught myself those two things. I don't know. Give me some credit. I'd appreciate it. Let's move on. Oh, this is kind of an ancillary thing. You know, I'd like to know more about you and how you work. I have about 1,000 things that I need to do today, and it's not a joke. And I'm not going to get even close to getting them done. And if I just sat down and wrote a list, I'd be overwhelmed with the things I'm supposed to get done. And you say, "Well, John, that's funny. You're here chatting with us. You could be, doing those things." Well, part of my I want to stream. I love streaming. I think it's fantastic. I would like, obviously, to have more people in the stream. I'd like to have, I'd like to be monetized. I'd like all kinds of things. I'd like super chats. I'd like the community tab. I don't have any of that stuff, but it's enjoyable to me. Interesting. I just gotta check this. Oh, goodness. Anyway, so like I said, I had all this stuff to do, and I was sitting there and I was like, the camera needs to get fixed. But I've known this for maybe 6 months. I didn't want to do it because I knew what was going to happen. What's going to happen was I was going to start messing with something, and then I was going to end up spending hours trying to get it to where I wanted to get it. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, I did, any documents that had to be put together, anything like that, I did. But the rest of the time was just spent going over settings, trying new things. I've got like 3 days in the camera. 3 days in the camera. So is there a moral there? Like, it's a very interesting question about productivity. People talk about how you should just try to complete a task until you're finished. And then other people say you should kind of schedule like an hour here and an hour there to do things. And I don't know where you fall on the spectrum. I could spend an hour just planning the hour that I'm supposed to spend. I mean, I have to be very, very careful with what I do. And so, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm pretty close to being done with the camera now for a while. But like, for instance, I've got a elliptical. It's broken. I want to fix it. I have to take it apart to fix it. First, I have to find the parts. I know what it's going to be. It's going to be the board. And I don't want to fix the board because it's expensive. It's like $100. I don't want to spend it, but I have to take the thing apart so I could see if it's really the board. It's been 2 weeks. I haven't gotten to it. I have this article that's due for something. It's been 2 weeks. I don't have that done. I have to put together my YouTube stuff. I got to do one thing. There we go. So, turn that there. I don't have that done. I have a pond. I bought a second pond liner because I like ponds in my backyard. And so I got to put that in. Now, luckily it's been raining, so I can't really even go out there and do it right now. But that's not done. There's these, I've got to clean my office at some point. I've got to organize my office. I tried during the summer of last year and didn't get that far. And everything, just so you know, everything stops when it becomes like a revenue producing activity. So if someone calls me like right now, I just got a text. Somebody wants me to search a certain area for their houses. And so of course I will go now and set up a search as soon as we get off the live stream. If someone called me about showing a house, I'd be out there showing a house. Somebody called me on a listing call, I'd be doing that. It's very, I mean, I'm more like the paperwork is always done. But on these big projects, there's so many of them. There's so many of them that I don't have done. It's just like, do I get up earlier in the morning? Stay up later? I don't know. It's crazy. So that being said, we can move on. Yardwork today has been canceled due to the rain. I've not cut the grass in 2 weeks. It's not like it's too high, but it's getting a little bit ridiculous. I'm not happy with the situation. The pond is in the backyard. Like I need to wash. I need to cut the grass before I dig for the pond, because if I don't, the grass will be everywhere. I'm going to have this. There's going to be 2 ponds. There's going to be one on top of the other, like in height. And I'm going to have a little waterfall between the 2. A little creek or a little. Now, am I going to do it tomorrow? No. Again, most of the, it'll take a while. But anyway, I'd like to get it in the ground before winter, because I don't know how that's going to work. This is my first year with a pond. And at first I was having a little trouble with algae. Then I got the right plants. So that I don't need a filter, and I don't have fish. I'm just growing like plants, aquatic plants. And so that's the pond. But you know, if you do the yard work, then you don't get the you don't get the elliptical fix. If I got the elliptical fixed, at least I could, work out. I could be less fat. I could put that into my list of things to do every day. Put it into a routine. Remember, this is a chill stream today. This is Sunday afternoon, and it's a Labor Day weekend. So it's a lazy Labor Day weekend, and that's my next topic. Not much is going on in the real estate biz this weekend for me. Many of my friends are gone. My clients are gone for the weekend. They're either, at the lake, or they're just, barbecuing with their family. 3-day weekend. They're not looking at houses. Those that are looking at houses this weekend come with 2 issues. One, if you're looking at houses this weekend, very few inventory, very few things are going to come up listed for sale this weekend that are nice. If an agent really wants to sell a house, they're probably not listing it this weekend. They're probably moving to the next weekend, or they listed it the weekend before. Why? Because nobody's going to show up only the hardcore buyers are going to show up this weekend. And then those people, are probably battle hardened. It's probably not somebody's first weekend out. And so they're not going to fall for some of the tricks. They've seen a bunch of houses in advance. They know what the pricing should be in the neighborhood. So they're not going to be, it's just not a good weekend for buyers and listings. I mean, it's just not a good weekend. And so the other thing is, people may move this weekend, like move out of their house, and that's cool. But then they don't have it listed. So, and just so you know, my buyers, all of them, I talked to them on Friday. I said, you're going to be around this weekend. Most of them said, John, take the weekend off because we're not going to be around. And so again, if you were looking for a house right now, okay, I would set a showing today and we could go. But just know that the quality of listings is probably going to be a little bit down this weekend, and know that only the most aggressive of buyers are out there. You may say, as somebody that's going to list a house, maybe you say, well, I'm going to play contrarian. I think it's a pretty good idea to list a house this weekend because we only want really strong buyers. But you know what? I get the sense, and this happened to me over 4th of July. I get the sense that even if I want to show a house this weekend, there are people that don't want me to show the house, like the listing agent. Like the listing agent doesn't want a contract this weekend. This is the sense that I get. I could be wrong. But man, 4th of July, these people they would say no. Every time I tried to schedule a showing, they're just like, no. And so my thing is, hey, if you're not going to let us see the house, at least put something in the MLS that says the house is not available to be shown the following days. And then you don't have that issue. Like if you're an owner occupant right now and your house is listed and it's been listed for a week, first of all, probably got the wrong price on it. Second of all, just set it up so like you can have a barbecue, you can enjoy yourself today. I mean, it's kind of the thing. It's like it's just set it up so that it makes it easy for everybody. That's my bottom line on that. If you were to ask me 2 questions, one, should I list my home this weekend? I would say no. I would say let's not list it this weekend. And then second, I mean, unless you just had to, unless we need to get that thing closed in 30 days or something. No, I wouldn't list it this weekend. And then number 2, would you recommend that somebody buy a house this weekend? Well, I don't recommend people buy houses really any weekend. There's no difference. Like if you see something that you like and we go to it, we physically go see it, and you're still interested and want to put in an offer. Just know that there's probably not going to be as much inventory right now as there has been recently. New inventory. We're going to do something a little different today with the Google Trends. Now, you guys know I like Google Trends. You know that I find it fascinating, and I find it really, a place for commentary in the sense that there's always something to talk about. So I'm going to share this screen with you, and then we're going to go over this, and I'm going to do the best I can to try and explain it in real time, what I see. And now you should be able to see this. I'm going to go look and make sure. Okay. What this is, this is the real-time search trends for the past 24 hours. So you've got some sort of soccer thing. You've got some sort of football thing. And then you've got this Bed Bath & Beyond. Then it's going to go with more sports. I mean, look at the sports. Look at the level of sports that are in here. Okay. I don't know. It says Steve McMichael, Ric Flair World Championship. Let the poor man rest. Fans angry with Ric Flair for posting an upsetting picture of I don't know. Let's see if we can do that. Now, if this is bad, of a 64-year-old NFL legend who's suffering from ALS. Okay. But anyway, what I wanted to do, first of all, look at the daily search trends. Oh, watch that story be gone now. Anyway, I mean, look at the top. You've got, or at least for yesterday, you've got Ohio State football, Georgia football, Taylor Hawkins, Alabama football, college football scores, Florida Gators football, Michigan football, Iowa football, UFC, Austin Villa versus Manchester City. That's soccer. Barcelona is soccer. Texas Longhorn football, Chelsea versus West Ham. It's hard for me to believe that there's all these people in the United States that are watching World Championship soccer. But that's what it says. AMC, I don't know anything about that. UNC football, Everton versus Liverpool soccer, Real Madrid soccer, wrestling, football. And so, like, my thing is do you get a warped view about how important things are? Like people's daily lives. That's my takeaway from it. As an example, and I don't want to beat it to death, but I used to love college football. I used to love pro football. I used to love baseball. I used to watch all of those things. Later on, I watched NASCAR for a while. But, politically, things got weird for all these things. Like they started to inject a lot of politics into the sporting events, and I didn't want to watch them anymore. Hockey, loved hockey. So I stopped watching, and I have plenty of time to do things I want to do now. Actually, I don't have any time. Nothing changed. The quality of my life did not get better because I stopped watching sports. It just is different. Because remember, politics has been infected into everything now. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything without something being political. Anyway, let's go into this article because I want to deal with this and I don't know how I'm going to approach this, but let me see if you can see this. Okay. Number 5, Bed Bath & Beyond. It was like number 3 one before I switched over there, but Bed Bath & Beyond Chief Financial Officer, New York and Finance. Now, for those of you who don't know, Bed Bath & Beyond just got crushed on their stock. Okay. It says Gustavo Arnell, number 2 at Bed Bath & Beyond, dies. Now, I'm going through the way I think about things. Now, number 1, I feel, first of all, here's what I know is Bed Bath & Beyond, there was something iffy as far as the stock ate it. Then this man has died. And I know this because it says it. I've never heard of this fellow beforehand, and now he's dead. So then I look down here like, okay, so what is this about? Look at the search engine interest. Okay. It says Gustavo. These are the related news. So normally this tells you like why it's trending. So it says Gustavo Arnell, number 2 at Bed Bath & Beyond, dies. Then that's 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago again, Bed Bath & Beyond says CFO Gustavo Arnell dead in a shocking loss. Now that's just a different headline. It says, this is The Guardian, says Bed Bath & Beyond executive fell to death from New York Tower. That was an hour ago. It says, Bed Bath & Beyond executive dies after falling from high rise. Okay. Now, Fox Business comes in. It says Bed Bath & Beyond CFO who leapt to his death accused of pump and dump to something. I can't read the rest of it. I don't know. If I do this, is it going to take me here? And if it is, they're going to hit me for like, oh, they didn't hit me. Normally I get paywalled. And then here's the Wall Street Journal. Bed Bath & Beyond confirms death of Gustavo Arnell. Now, just between these two, okay, like just headlines alone, what do you think is the decent move when someone has committed suicide? Like as far as reporting? It just seems to me suspicious that someone this Bed Bath & Beyond executive dies after falling from high rise. There's a big difference between like tripping over like a shoe and falling to your death and you making a decision to jump. And this is this is what I see in like the reporting of news in general anymore. The New York Times just says that the man died. USA Today says that he died in a shocking loss. Fox is saying that he jumped. And you say, well, what difference does it make if he jumped? What difference does it make if he fell? And could they all be mutually true? Yes, it could be true that you fell from your death, fell to your death. But like there was a story about somebody, I think, that was running Luke Oil in Russia just Friday, who died after falling out of a hospital window. The insuation there, insuation. My word's off on that one. I'm sorry. What they were insinuating was that the man in Moscow didn't fall out of the window. He was thrown out of the window. I'm just curious. So like, I don't, to me, this article is not about, or to me, my discussion is not about this situation. Okay. It's terrible. Anytime somebody dies, it's not something we should celebrate. My beef is with the reporting. Like, I feel like if somebody did leap to their death, we should, that's fair and reasonable. I'm going to load some more. There was some other things I saw today that I thought this was the next one. Okay. It's the Chili Referendum. Okay. So then we go down here and it says Chile is this is NPR. Chile is voting on whether to adopt a proposed constitution with big changes. I'm not reading the article. I'm just saying this is there. And then the next one from RFI, I don't even know what that is. It says Chile votes on an overhaul of dictatorship era constitution. Okay. And then Axios says Chile votes on a new constitution in a test for leftist President Boric. Okay. And then Bloomberg says Chile votes on a constitution that would supercharge leftist shift. Okay. And then CNA says Chileans head to the poll to decide on progressive new constitution. And then Al Jazeera says voting on Chile's proposed constitution, what you need to know. I mean, just headline writers in general, you tell me, is NPR capable of writing that something is left or right? I don't know. Why? This is just me. This is in the U.S. These are the U.S. That's what always makes me a little bit suspicious. Like, soccer is that big in the United States? No offense to the pro leagues and all that other stuff. I'm just saying that it beats out Michigan football. And then in this case here, like, are you telling the referendum in Chile? People are actually looking up the referendum in Chile today or yesterday or Chile. I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It just seems like it seems a bit off. Hopefully that's fair. What we got here? Just want to check something. Okay. Well, let's take a look at some stuff. Let's look at some articles. That was my Google Trends for the day. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and celebrate some man's passing. That doesn't seem right. And I'm not going to talk about a constitutional change in Chile when I don't exactly know like enough. I mean, I have no opinion on Chile's referendum. None. Like I don't even know what to do about it. It doesn't seem to affect me. Let's move on. Okay, ready? I got to find it. There's 2 articles today from realtor.com. All right. And, normally I like to space out articles and do different things. I think the articles are different enough that we're going to be okay. If you get bored and stuff, obviously click off. Is the worst over? 4 mostly bright new realities of buying a home today. So let's talk about this. We know for a fact that for some reason in the housing market, buyers are never considered like good, which is stupid. So let me just put it out there like this. When I tell you the housing market is hot, what does that mean to you? Well, here's what it usually means. It usually means that the price of a home that someone got in their sale was high or strong, like there was many offers, or there was good offers, or the prices were high. That's like a good thing. It's a terrible thing for sellers. And it's always kind of a weird thing because really, like real estate in general, just like personal residences, it's pretty much based on when you bought your house, what you've done to your house since you've purchased it, what type of home it is, where it's located, what's happened there. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into the pricing of a home. But if you bought your house in 1947 and it's in, like, let's just say in St. Louis, it's in Ladue, well, you're sitting on a gold mine. Like, no matter what you do, you're definitely going to get more than you paid for the house. Now, if you bought a house 6 months ago and you're noticing that there might be some fraying of the edges in the real estate market as far as home sales, well, even if it's a hot market, it doesn't feel so great to you. No, I understand this isn't as much of a criticism as an observation. It says the real estate market is changing and fast. For 2 long years, we've been in a red hot seller's market where home sellers got exactly what they wanted: high home prices, zero strings attached, and often much more. I'll agree with that. Now, however, the pendulum is starting to swing back in the buyer's favor. While it is nowhere an official buyer's market, there are signs that the market is cooling. Sellers are no longer calling the shots, and buyers have more room for negotiations than they have in the past. If you're considering looking for a home in this market, here's a closer look at what to expect. So what I would say is, I really, even though we had to write offers that were over asking by a lot and these things, I really always, on the buyer side, still looked at value. I still always looked for opportunities to get not advantages, but really good deals for my buyers. The last 2 houses I've gotten under contract, we all have inspection contingencies. We have appraisal contingencies, inspection contingencies, appraisal contingencies. I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but I've got a lot of contingencies, and I'm not doing those things because I want to make things difficult on myself or on the sellers or on my buyers. I'm doing that because I think that's the best way to go about buying a house in any market. But let's see. It says, the old norm, almost every market was red hot. And the new norm, some markets are cooling down. I think that's true. Like in St. Louis, still, you have a nice priced home. You came to the market with the right price. It looks good. If somebody in my neighborhood put a house up for like $60,000 over like the average this weekend, they're crazy. They should have called me. But anyway, it says potential home buyers need to understand that all real estate is local. The national news headlines don't necessarily apply to every market around the country. That's true. It's true in both senses. Sometimes it's much hotter than you would ever believe. And then sometimes it's much colder than you would ever believe based on what you read. In some areas, it has gone from an extreme seller's market to one that's more balanced. Other areas of the country, however, have not changed as much. That's true. As for how to get a handle on what's happening in your local market, it's a good idea to check out how much homes are selling for and how quickly and in your neighborhood, which can be done on realtor.com local. I wouldn't say that. I say call me. I'll put together whatever you'd like. No offense to realtor.com. You should also ask what your real estate agent is noting, since this pro is intimately up to date on any new fluctuations in the market and can help clients such as yourself navigate those changes as they search for a home. Yeah, I mean, maybe people feel put out to ask me questions about the market before they decide to enter. Maybe they're worried that I'll, send them 40 emails and call them 20 times and try to get them to go buy a house or sell theirs. I'm just not that kind of agent. I try to put like service ahead of everything. And so you probably won't have that happen to me, but I mean, I'm not in charge. If you don't call me, I can't tell you what the market's doing. It says new norm. Home buyers now have leverage. Maybe some places. In the past, sellers were in the driver's seat when it came to real estate negotiations. They could ask for what they wanted, get it, and then some. But now a combination of rising interest rates and inventory levels have led the market to even out. So there's more room for negotiation. Oh, great. Everyone wants to negotiate. If you're looking to purchase a home, start by researching recent sales in the area. This will give you an idea of what similar homes have sold for and help you determine a fair offer price. You can then use that information as leverage in negotiations with the seller. My opinion is that you should not be trying to leverage against the seller or anything. They will not like that. And by negotiations, this goes behind cold, hard cash, particularly in today's cooling market. It's important to remember that sellers are often motivated by factors other than just money. So if you're able to offer a quick closing or flexible terms, you may be able to negotiate a lower price. People like money. Old norm, homes will practically sell overnight. New norm, properties are starting to sit on the market, giving buyers more options and time. Yeah. I would not use that. I personally would not use that strategy in St. Louis, Missouri at this time. I would stick on homes will practically sell overnight. Like I said, a week ago, I was trying to just get a showing for a condo. It was gone within 10 hours. New norm, properties are starting to sit on the market, giving buyers more options and time. Boy, in all my time in real estate, I've never had it be where if there's a nice house that comes to market, there aren't a few offers on the house the first weekend and the house sells. I've never been in that situation. I've never been able to say, oh, let's wait a week and a half for this house to not go under contract and then make an offer on it. New norm, properties are sitting on the market, giving buyers more options and time. The amount of homes on the market and how long they linger there can also affect the amount of room you have for negotiation. Typically, the longer a home sits without much interest, the more likely the sellers are to negotiate. I think that's true. Everybody has their limits. In today, inventory levels have risen by 30% over the past year. The largest increase in inventory in the data's history. And while the average time on the market is still fast at 35 days, recent data shows that the timeline is lengthening. For a practical budgeting standpoint, a real estate agent with listing leaders in Hobart, Indiana says to consider factoring time on the market into your home search, especially if your budget is on the tighter end of the spectrum. If you're hunting for a deal, try searching for homes that have been on the market for at least 2 weeks. Many homes are staying on the market for a longer period of time. It's those homes where the buyers will find the most opportunity to negotiate on purchase price contingencies and possibly even getting a closing cost concession. I don't typically ask for closing costs, even in good markets. I typically just try to win based on the price of the home. Old norm mortgage rates were at record lows. New norm rates are on the rise and will affect how much house you can afford. This is true. I agree 100%. It says, although interest rates are still at historic lows, they're on the rise. If you're taking on a mortgage, be prepared for higher costs. At the start of the year, rates were around 3%. And by mid-June, they were hovering around 6% before the most recent rate hikes. She says Buyers can prepare for fluctuations in interest rates by asking their lender to run multiple rate scenarios for them before they even start shopping for a home. You could do that. Get pre-approved before you go shopping, but make sure you understand where rates are today and what that means for your budget, as well as what might happen if rates were to climb another 0.5% or so. Wow, they're only at 0.5%. Do you realize how bad the market rates are right now? We're at 6%. I like to call this rate proofing your budget. It ensures you are prepared to adjust if mortgage rates change. True. It says here's more on how to estimate how much house you can afford. I thought that was a pretty balanced article. What do you think? Here. What do you think? You think it was pretty balanced? I can't argue with much on that article. Not much to quibble with. Let me see if this works. I just want to check on something. I don't like that. Let's go here. Okay. Let's go over to another. Oh, by the way, I know it's late in the show. Let's go back. I do have something to say. Rekieta Law. Any of you watch Rekieta Law? I'm sorry it's so late in the show. I was doing the show and I forgot to put it in there where I needed to. So Rekieta Law, great channel, Nick Rekieta. He's a lawyer, not practicing right now, I don't think. Anyway, he talks about pop culture and all these things all the time. Definitely a different flavor than what I do. Let me get to where I'm going to go this way. I don't understand. He's been suspended now from YouTube for 2 weeks for a violation, a community strike. Okay. And I just want, again, I could probably get booted from YouTube any moment for any reason because, well, so can everybody else. I don't understand how you can have a company as great as YouTube is with their technology be so bad at how they handle creators and people that bring them money. Rekieta was the second highest super chat bringer in terms of dollars to YouTube last year. They still suspended him at least once. I think it was actually twice. And now they've suspended him again. All that's doing is making him go to different platforms. And you say, good, well, hate has no place here. That's what that shows. So it's a very strange thing to watch. Look, as a business person, if someone were say someone says, John, I want you to use me as your real estate agent. All right. That's great. Are you a jerk? No, I'm not a jerk. I'm just normal. Fine. Let's go look at houses. Okay. Can't wait. If you are a jerk, then I don't want to work with you. Okay. That's up front. With YouTube, it's like they just decide, hey, it's very, very hard to understand how you can be on a platform. I've spent hours on YouTube, and I do have a Rumble channel. You should probably subscribe to me over there in case I do get booted. But how can you have one of your top earners, okay, be suspended for a community violation? He knows what one of them is, but he doesn't know what the other one is exactly. And then he'll have a 6-hour show. And I would say do better, YouTube, but there's no reason for you to do better. And here's why. You've been able to throw people off of your platform at will for the last, 2 years, 3 years. I mean, they may be the best. People might really enjoy watching their content, but you've decided that they don't need to be on your platform. And so you boot them and you say, all the people are it's a private company, all this. I'm not interested in the argument. My point is that Rekieta has a show. Okay. I don't feel that he's inciting violence or anything like that. And yet you've booted him now for 2 weeks. All you're doing by doing this to the more famous people, all you're doing is making them go to different platforms. They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop what they're doing. They're not even doing anything. They're not saying, hey, there are people that say, I got banned from YouTube, and then they put it on YouTube, and then the first thing you say to yourself is, you didn't get banned because you're sitting here talking right now. It didn't happen. But in Rekieta's case, you don't have any way. He's been banned. He has no way to communicate. And then you say, well, you can use Twitter. Well, if you use Twitter and you don't use if you don't sort your tweets by chronological time, there's a chance you may never see a tweet of his that says, hey, I'm banned for 2 weeks. You can catch me over here, because I'm streaming over at Locals, or I'm streaming over at Rumble, Odyssey. It's just, it's bizarre. I know there's some smart people at YouTube. You should really work on this, develop this space, because it doesn't do anybody any good. You say, well, it hasn't shown a chilling effect on new creators. Like the number of new creators has never been higher. I get that. But part of the things that make YouTube great is you get to see shows that you like. And when you boot the people, then you don't get to see those shows anymore. And it's not the same. There are shows that are individual. And when you boot them and the fans go where the people are once they found them. So no one's saying, oh, I'm not going to Rumble now because I don't want to hear Nick. They're just going to go straight over to Rumble. It's not going to be a big deal. I'm trying to help. Look, YouTube has more money than God. I mean, they make more money every minute than I might see in my lifetime. I mean, it's big. So should you take my word over your whoever's running these policies that are kind of not helpful to your own business? It's basically you shooting yourself in the foot. Doesn't make any sense. You don't have to listen to me, but I just want you to know I'm in solidarity watching Rekieta Law's channel. The reason why I started streaming in the first place is just watching Nick put these things together, these shows together. And he's got talent. He has got talent. And then just watch him get jerked around like this and he's a lawyer. I'm a real estate agent. I don't even know the law. No idea. Anyway, free Rekieta Law. That's my point. Please pass it on. Let's go back to our regularly scheduled program. Sorry that it took me out of sequence. This is the last one we'll do today. 2022 housing markets remain in sellers' favor, but conditions are changing. This is the survey. It says home sellers are contending with slowing real estate fundamentals. Real estate markets are reflecting a landscape seeking to regain its balance. It has not been balanced in a long time. After 2.5 years of global pandemic, that's not the reason why the balance is gone. Balance is gone because of this low interest rate environment that we've had. The 2020 and 2021 period was an unprecedented stretch, which saw widespread quarantine, social distancing, and remote work reshape housing preferences. In addition, the fiscal and monetary responses pushed financial liquidity in the economy and drove borrowing costs to record lows, fueled a significant boom in sales. However, the period was marked by hyper-competitive conditions, which put sellers firmly in the driver's seat and frustrated many buyers, especially those looking for their first home. Now, I would just say this has always been my understanding in the business, is the sellers are always at the advantage. If you work with if you work as a buyer's agent and you tell the seller, hey, I want you to fix these things or we're leaving, 9 times out of 10, the seller's agent says, okay, that's what you feel like you need to do. However, this summer's markets are confirming that the feverish pandemic conditions are moving in the rearview mirror as mortgage rates jumped over 200 basis points in the last 6 months. The monthly mortgage payment for median-priced home surged 60% higher. In turn, higher prices and borrowing costs have been cooling demand as many first-time buyers hit an affordability ceiling and found they were no longer able to qualify for a mortgage. Sales of new and existing homes dropped in the first half of the year, a natural response to the changing dynamics. Yes, if you raise rates, it should slow down the market. The Fed was right to do something. The problem is the Fed doesn't know how to do things like small. And they've been dealing with great employment, although that's a confusing thing. Why do we all need 2 jobs just to survive? Maybe somebody should look into that. Maybe there's something there that's not good. It says the survey data shows, I'm sorry. In order to better understand these shifting records, we surveyed a national sample of homeowners. As we learned earlier this year, the majority of them have been in a 2-pronged process of selling their current home while trying to buy another one to better match their evolving needs. The survey data show that the last 2 years of overheating housing markets are beginning to regain a sense of normalcy. Welcome news for buyers. Moreover, with inventory metrics showing that more homeowners listed their properties in May and June, rising inventories motivated more of them to resort to price cuts in order to close transactions. However, it is important to point out that real estate markets continue to favor sellers this summer, and the majority of recent sellers are still unsatisfied. Interesting. The majority of recent sellers are still unsatisfied with the outcome of their home sale. Very interesting. Always a fascinating kind of exercise is it the agent's fault or is it the seller's fault for when a house doesn't sell for what they were expecting? Millennial homeowners are active sellers in this year's housing market. Over the past 12 months, 20% of homeowners surveyed indicated they sold their home. Of those, 34% sold during the June-August month at the height of what is traditionally the peak of the home buying process. An additional 23% of sellers closed the transactions in the spring period during the February-May months, and the remainder sold their homes in the prior 6 months. Okay. Across demographics, millennials were particularly active in the summer markets, with 38% selling in these last 3 months. Almost a third of baby boomers and Generation Z homeowners reported selling a home during the summer months, as did a little over a quarter Gen Xers. Now, don't make fun of me, but basically that's everybody in the marketplace. So why does that matter? Affordability is a central challenge for this year's market. The market of the past year saw median list price follow an upward trajectory towards new highs, culminating with June 2022's record. That was a sneeze. Record $450,000. Okay. That's a median list price of $450,000. Yet even in a seller's market, sales prices were spread across the spectrum. About a third of sellers had home listed at or below $350,000, what would comprise the entry level of the market for many first-time buyers. Another 30% of sellers closed on home priced in the mid-range market, the $350,000 to $750,000 price segment. That's not mid-range. That's ridiculous. Almost 1 in 4 homeowners who sold in the last 12 months were in the trade-up range, $750,000 to $1.5 million. The remainder of sellers were concentrated in what is the luxury segment for most of the country above $1.5 million. It says, when looking at the price distribution, the shifting market becomes more contoured across time. The last few months have seen mortgage rates surge towards 6%, and combined with higher prices, they put a dent in affordability. Not surprisingly, the survey highlights a shift in the prices toward the more affordable range. While sales prices above $1.5 million comprised 17% of sales 6 to 12 months ago, they accounted for only 6% in August of 2022. Conversely, a higher concentration of sellers were successful at closing on more affordable homes over the last 3 months. Well, let me get a drink. In St. Louis, where I work, if you're buying $1 million home, you're probably not buying it with a mortgage. Therefore, you don't care about interest rates. You care about the price of the home. If you're buying a $300,000 house, you probably care about the mortgage. It says even with a slower market, sellers were well positioned to get top dollar for their homes. Highlighting the upward trajectory of prices over the past decade, the overwhelming majority of homeowners who sold this past year received more for their properties than what they paid. This is particularly evident across generations, with older homeowners who likely lived in their houses longer seeing higher shares of equity. Yet, even for Generation Z homeowners who likely purchased in the last 3 years, 91% reported selling their home for more than they paid for it. This is what I see in the market too. Seriously, I see that people that bought their houses 3 years ago are still able to sell a house for more than what they paid for it. It says agents remain central for sellers, even in a technology-centric marketplace. Interestingly, in a period where digital tools and technological resources are abundant, sellers continue to resort to the expertise of real estate agents to help them market and close transactions. Almost 90% of sellers hired a real estate agent to sell their home this past year. Across generations, millennials stand out, with 92% employing the services of a real estate agent. Likely reflecting the experience of multiple home transactions across the years, only 62% of baby boomers who sold in the last 12 months reported hiring an agent for the transaction. I would say this: baby boomers they think highly of themselves in general. And they're also old. They may have owned a house, but they may not have sold the house because they're moving into like assisted living. So it was their kids. So I would be very interested at the metrics in determining who that group of people are that is considered baby boomers were. It says, at the same time, it's clear that today's sellers are immersed in technology-centric market, leveraging available tools to make more informed decisions. 8 in 10 homeowners who sold in the past 12 months use home value estimate tools or home tracking tools. Looking across generations, the majority of Generation X and younger sellers employ home value estimates to inform their decisions. This is a mistake. This is a mistake. Why? Those numbers could be wildly different. Zillow's whole iBuying premise was that they had goods estimates and that they could buy homes and make a profit. And they went out of business in like less than a year after losing over $400 million in a quarter. You know, this estimate isn't really doing anything for you on that. And that says the majority of sellers report satisfaction with the outcome. On the seller side, 100%. No question. If you're not happy with the satisfaction of selling your home now, you're just not a very happy person. 100% of Gen X and baby boomers and sellers indicated satisfaction. And number one, it was the price. And the fact that they're not getting as much later is it's slowing down. It says redefine housing priorities and preferences motivate homeowners to sell. The pandemic had a significant impact on Americans' lives and housing preferences. This was also visible in the survey results. The primary reason homeowners decided to sell in the last year was the realization that after so much time spent at home, they wanted different features and amenities such as walkability, outdoor space, pool, etc. The second reason for selling was the desire to take advantage of the current market, followed by the realization that existing homes no longer met the needs of homeowners' families in terms of space, features, and location. Evolving social needs were also highlighted by 23% of the sellers who wanted to live closer to family and friends. Let's see what this says. I just want to see it says. So here's the most likely reasons to sell. After so much time at home, we want different features and amenities. That's like, so we were at our house during the virus and we decided we didn't really like the house we own. The other one is I wanted to take advantage of the current market. That makes sense. It says my home no longer meets the needs of my family. That could be as simple as you got divorced or you had children or, something, a life-changing event. It says I kept hearing and seeing news that it's a seller's market. Well, that's weird that would make you a reason to sell. Like that was the only that was like the only reason. I needed a home office to work and I don't have one. I think that's a reasonable one. And then it says we wanted to live closer to friends and family. That's always been the case. I needed a less expensive house that is more affordable. I don't understand where you found that. I wanted a smaller house that is less work. I bought something in a hurry, panic, and it wasn't right for me. I needed the money ASAP. I no longer live near my office. Odd motivations. This says like what the buyer-friendly terms are. I'm not real interested in that. And then in the positive development for housing markets, home inspections have once become the norm this year. After waning somewhat during the frenzy of 2021 period, while 82% of homeowners who sold 6 to 12 months ago reported that the buyer requested home inspection, 95% of sellers in August 22 reported the same. Okay. Just as important in reflecting the shifting market dynamics, a growing share of sellers reported that buyers asked for repairs to be made following the home inspection. Well, that's depending on the contract. They're going to do that anyway. Only 31% of homeowners who sold 6 to 12 months ago reported that buyers asked for repairs to the home in the wake of the inspection. In contrast, 67% of homeowners who sold in August 22 negotiated with buyers who wanted repairs done. I'm always skeptical of home sellers' repairs. I prefer credit. I'm just telling you. The majority of sellers reported that the cash value of their repairs identified in home inspections was in the $10,000 or less. For 11% of homeowners, however, home inspections point out more significant repairs which exceeded $20,000. In response, most sellers made the necessary repairs to satisfy home inspection. You paid $20,000 to fix something? Good Lord. It says, viewed from this perspective and likely anticipating these shifts while also aiming for top dollar, majority of homeowners who sold this past year made needed repairs to their house and even before listing them. The share range from 71% of homeowners who sold 6 to 12 months ago to a much higher 95% of homeowners who sold in August of this year. And homeowners spent an average of $14,162 to fix their properties prior to closing. Or prior to listing. Boy, that's a lot. What do you think? I think I personally think that's reasonable, what they're saying. I don't have a problem with what they're saying. The people that I worked with definitely fixed their homes before they sold. Most of it was cosmetic that I saw. Yeah. What do you think? I mean, it just makes sense to me that you would do some work to list your home. That's why it was always weird when like Compass and them are always saying, well, we'll do all the things necessary for you to list your home. It's like, a lot of staging. I saw a lot of staging this year. I don't know. Going forward, I'm not really that worried. I know some people are like, oh, the housing market's going to collapse. As far as my business, I told you guys, like, I would spend weeks and weeks and weeks writing offers that didn't get accepted. And that was terrible. So anything that would change that dynamic to the positive, meaning I still have clients and I still can write offers and they can be accepted, I'm good with. Now, if I don't have any clients, that's not good. That's no bueno. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. It's a Sunday afternoon. We have a live stream. Not many people came to hang out with me today, and that's okay. I understand you're doing other things. Maybe it's not raining where you are. Hopefully you enjoy the camera. Hopefully you enjoy the lens. I did my best. I did what I thought I should do. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you on the next one.